Good afternoon, Big Blue Nation. This is Lee with That Kentucky Basketball Chick, and I am back from vacation. So good to be back, good to be home. We were gone like 10 days, and that was probably a little too long for me, but it's okay. We went to Disney, and then we road tripped up the East Coast, St. Augustine, Savannah, Charleston, and then came back home. Disney was wonderful. It was great. My mom and dad actually met us down there, and my son loved it. My husband loved it. We all loved it. But we've got, now that we're home, we've got some stuff to unpack with Kentucky sports, specifically Kentucky football. We had a Ole Miss game and a Eastern Michigan game to talk about, and then we've got a little bit of stuff to talk about basketball. But before we dive in, grab your ice cold can of Dr. Pepper, and let's crack it open. So refreshing. Anyway, so now let's dive in. Let's talk about the Ole Miss game. The Ole Miss game to me was just overall disappointing. And the reason why is because I feel like we could have won that game. We came out strong, 2 interceptions, and came out on top. But then we had some mistakes, like stuff that couldn't happen. You get in field goal range, and then you run it back and get sacked. And then you also you get a holding penalty that gets you out of field goal range. I that stuff can't happen, and it did. It was so disorganized, especially when the headsets went down. In fact, you could see Calzada say, "What the bleep are we doing?" And it was just like so disorganized, didn't know what was going on, and that can't happen with your quarterback. Our defense was pretty good, like normal. Though, I do think they need to work on pushing through the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter, we start struggling defensively, and I don't know if it's they're tired. I feel like they have the whole game on their back anyway because our offense is so disorganized with Calzada. But I will say, Foley, when he came in, the team looked different. Looked totally different. I hate that it was an injury that put him there, but he just looked. It looked like a totally different team, and to the point that I thought, oh, we might tie this up and maybe have a chance to win it. So it was just disappointing. It felt like a blowout, even though it wasn't a blowout. We only lost by a touchdown. I don't think we were ever really meant to win the game, but it just felt like it was possible. This game was very winnable, y'all. It was very winnable. So now let's move to Eastern Michigan. We won that game. Probably should have won it better, like more. But it was a good win. Cutter Boley was the quarterback, which, y'all, I think he's the quarterback going forward. The team is a totally different team when he's playing. He actually steps into the pocket. Calzada does not. It's almost like Calzada's scared to get in there. He threw to tight ends. Apparently that's something that doesn't happen very often. So, Mark Stoops, you probably will never hear this, but if you do somehow hear this, I think Cutter Boley's your quarterback. Just is. And I think, so we don't play this weekend. We have a bye week. So we play South Carolina next weekend. And I think if he starts Calzada, I think Kentucky might riot. The fans might riot. They want Cutter. It's sad just because of how much money we spent on Calzada, but it's not working. It's not. And if we want to be somewhat competitive in the SEC, we've got to put the person in there that can win. So we'll see what happens with South Carolina. We will talk more about the South Carolina game when probably next week because we've got the bye week. South Carolina last week did get their butts handed to them by Vandy, so that's kind of encouraging. So I think we could beat South Carolina. If they have a game this week, I'll probably watch that. But if you haven't, guys, have any suggestions on what SEC teams I should watch this week? Any big SEC teams? I haven't looked it up. I need to. Let me know because I will be watching some football and I will watch probably game day too because it's fun. Now basketball. Um, really excited. We haven't heard a lot about the basketball team except that it's going to be fun. This field of 68 were in this week and they interviewed some of them. Otega Owe was one of them. He actually has turf toe, so we know what's wrong with his foot. But he seems like he'll be back for the season, no problem. But he used the word platoon for this team, and that's exciting because if that's how it is, I remember the 2015 team, and it was so much fun to watch them. And hopefully, if that's what we do, we can get to the Final Four. The field of 68 are saying because of the money that Kentucky spent on their roster, it's a Final Four team or bust for them. Which is exciting because if we do that, that means we're going to have a great March run, and I'm going to be excited, and everybody around me is going to be excited. So they also they've showed some clips of practices. They look awesome from what I've seen, so I'm excited about that. Just can't wait. I cannot wait for basketball season. October 24th is coming, where we have our exhibition game with Purdue, which is weird because they're going to be like the number one pre-projected season team in the country. It'll be a great test. Big Blue Madness is October 11th, by the way. So that's less than a month away. That's exciting. So yeah, it's right around the corner. Really exciting. But that's really all I've got for this week. We don't have a game this weekend, so we're not doing any really prep for that, talking about it. We'll talk about, as I said, the South Carolina game next week, probably. But I'm excited. So until then, let's go Cats!